They told you that people are impossible to read, that human beings are mysteries too complex, too unpredictable, that only experts and endless years of study can reveal what lies inside another soul. But that is a half-truth, and half-truths are the most dangerous lies, because the cracks are everywhere. Every smile hides a tremor. Every silence is louder than words. Every boast is a disguise for something fragile beneath. Nietzsche saw this with brutal clarity. He believed that people do not hide as well as they think, that every mask eventually slips, and that if you know where to look, you can see the truth instantly. It is not magic. It is not guessing. It is the psychology of masks, the subtle betrayals of character, the secret signals of fear, guilt, envy, and pride. And there are 18 truths, 18 unmasking principles, that strip away the illusions people build around themselves. Learn them, and you will never see anyone the same way again. From the moment you wake up, you put on a mask. The smile at work, the polite nod, the calm tone when inside you're burning. We all wear them, not because we want to, but because society demands it. Nietzsche believed that these masks are not just habits. They are survival. They protect us from judgment, from rejection, from the terror of being fully exposed. But here is the paradox. The harder someone clings to their mask, the easier it is to see what they're hiding. The tension in their jaw, the laugh that doesn't match their eyes, the words rehearsed perfectly. Watch closely. Every mask leaves cracks, and in those cracks, you will glimpse the real person they are desperate to conceal. Listen carefully to people's anger, the things they despise, the flaws they mock, the behaviors they cannot stand. These are not accidents. Nietzsche understood that hatred is often a mirror. When someone lashes out against arrogance, it may be because they fear being seen as arrogant themselves. When they condemn weakness, it may be because they carry weakness they cannot face. Hatred is projection. It is the unconscious screaming, "This lives inside me too, and I must bury it at all costs." So the next time you hear someone attack a trait with unusual passion, do not look outward. Look inward at them, because what they hate in others is often the very thing they are hiding in themselves. We are trained to listen to what people say, but Nietzsche knew the real truth lies in what they don't say. Notice the pause before an answer. Notice the subject they dodge, the story they leave unfinished, the question they laugh off instead of answering. Silence is not empty. It is heavy, full of meaning, a shield against what they fear to reveal. Words can be rehearsed, but silence cannot be faked. It is the raw space where someone's secrets bleed through. So when the room grows quiet, do not rush to fill it, hold it, because in that silence, you will hear the truth they are most afraid of speaking. The louder someone proclaims their goodness, the more carefully you should listen. Nietzsche warned us, when people shout about their virtue, it is often not virtue at all, but vanity wearing a mask. The one who constantly reminds you of their honesty may be hiding lies. The one who parades their kindness may be addicted to the praise it brings. True virtue is quiet. It does not beg for recognition. It does not need applause. So when someone performs their morality too loudly, see it for what it is, not a reflection of their soul, but a performance staged for the crowd. Before anyone can deceive you, they deceive themselves. Nietzsche believed that self-deception is the foundation of human behavior. We convince ourselves of stories we want to believe. Stories about our morality, our talent, our control over life. These lies are subtle. A justification whispered to quiet guilt, a memory reshaped to make pain tolerable, a hope inflated to ward off fear. Watch carefully. The inconsistencies in what someone says, the moments they contradict themselves, these are not mistakes. They are the breadcrumbs of self-deception, leading straight to the truth they cannot face. Pride is a mask. The louder someone proclaims their strength, intelligence, or talent, the more likely it is they are concealing what they fear most: weakness. Nietzsche saw this clearly. Those who insist on being right, those who dominate every conversation, those who flaunt power, they are often terrified of being small, unnoticed, or inadequate. Watch their reactions closely. Every boast, every argument, every need to prove themselves is a shadow cast by their insecurity. True confidence doesn't demand an audience. It doesn't need comparison. And where someone insists on being above others, look carefully. You will find the gap they are hiding, the fear they dare not admit even to themselves. Everything people do is motivated by fear, not the fear they admit, not the fear they talk about, but the quiet, shadowy fear that shapes their every choice. Nietzsche believed that fear drives ambition, arrogance, even kindness. People chase success to avoid failure. They dominate others to avoid vulnerability. They perform virtue to avoid judgment. Watch closely, and you'll see it: hesitation, overreaction, defensiveness. All whispers of the fear beneath the surface. The truth is harsh. Humans rarely act from pure desire. We act from fear, and every fear leaves a trace, a subtle signal that reveals who they truly are. Listen to those who judge harshly. Every insult, every scornful remark, every contemptuous glance. It is rarely about the person they attack. Nietzsche understood this clearly. When someone despises arrogance, laziness, or dishonesty in others, they are often wrestling with the same flaws within themselves. Criticism is projection. It is the shadow of their guilt, fear, or envy cast onto the world. So the next time someone attacks someone else relentlessly, do not look at the target. Look deeper. Look at the critic, for in their rage lies the truth they refuse to admit, even to themselves. Some people walk through life like nothing can touch them. They speak boldly, act decisively, and radiate certainty. But Nietzsche warned us, often, this confidence is a shield. Behind the swagger, behind the laughter, lies guilt. Guilt for choices they regret, words they cannot take back, paths they fear they ruined. They perform courage to convince themselves and the world that they are unshakable. Watch closely. The cracks appear in their over-explanation, their insistence on control, their need to always be right. What seems like confidence is often guilt in disguise, a mask to hide the parts of themselves they cannot forgive. Listen to the extremes. I don't care. I never think about it. I am nothing like them. Nietzsche knew that exaggeration is confession. When someone insists too loudly, when their words are extreme, they are revealing exactly what they cannot face. The louder the claim, the deeper the truth it hides. The person who says they don't care often cares too much. The one who denies a flaw secretly fears it controls them. The one who proclaims indifference is haunted by desire. Exaggeration is not deception. It is a shadow of honesty, a signal screaming through the performance. Learn to read it, and you see the self they cannot hide, even from themselves. Watch those who need everything in order, the schedules, the rules, the relentless planning. Nietzsche understood, this is not discipline. It is fear, fear of uncertainty, fear of vulnerability, fear that, without control, life will unravel, and they will be exposed. The need to dominate every situation, to micromanage every detail, is a silent confession. Beneath the polished exterior lies chaos they cannot face, and control is their armor. So when someone obsesses over rules or perfection, look past the order, and you will glimpse the storm they hide within. Notice those who perform, the ones who laugh too loudly, boast too much, or dominate every conversation. Nietzsche saw the pattern clearly. The more someone needs attention, the more hollow the space beneath their mask. They act as if presence alone proves worth, as if spectacle can replace substance. Every gesture, every exaggerated word, every desperate attempt to be seen. It is a confession of emptiness. True character does not shout. It exists quietly, confidently, without demand. The louder the performance, the deeper the void they conceal. And if you pay attention, you will feel it, even before they speak. Words are rarely what they seem. Nietzsche understood that humans do not speak from reason alone. They speak from fear, from longing, from wounds that have never healed. Every argument, every justification, every excuse is a map of the pain they carry. Logic is the language they use to disguise it, to make the wound seem like choice, to turn suffering into explanation. Listen carefully. Beneath every claim of certainty lies hurt. Every passionate defense hides vulnerability. And if you can see the pain behind the words, you can read the truth that most people cannot even admit to themselves. Watch how people respond when others falter. Nietzsche understood that true strength is not shown in dominance, but in restraint, in empathy, in the silence between words. Those who crush the weak, mock vulnerability, or take advantage of others, their power is fragile, built on fear and insecurity. But those who hold back, who offer patience, who resist the urge to humiliate, their strength is quiet, enduring, undeniable. The next time you see someone confronted with weakness, observe carefully. Their reaction is a window into the core of who they are, a mirror reflecting the depth of their true power. Notice what people crave, not just what they say they want, but the intensity with which they pursue it. Nietzsche believed that desire is rarely pure. It is often a mask for insecurity, a way to fill the void they cannot face. The need for recognition, approval, or admiration, these are not signs of confidence, they are whispers of self-doubt. The more desperately someone seeks to possess, to conquer, or to be noticed, the more it reveals what they lack inside. And if you watch carefully, their desires will expose truths they try to hide even from themselves. Notice the patterns they cling to, the routines, the obligations, the rules that seem suffocating. Nietzsche knew that most people follow them willingly, not because they love confinement, but because freedom is terrifying. Freedom forces choice, responsibility, and confrontation with oneself. It strips away excuses and masks, leaving only the raw self behind. Those who avoid change, who resist independence, who cling to predictability, they are not weak, they are afraid. And in that fear lies a truth you can see clearly. People are often prisoners not of others, but of their own courage. Notice how they act when no one is watching. Nietzsche observed that true character is exposed in quiet moments, in spaces where judgment is absent and masks are unnecessary. The jokes they make, the way they treat service workers, the small habits, the fleeting glances, these reveal what they value, what they fear, and what they hide. When people are comfortable, they stop performing, they stop protecting the facade. And in that unguarded state, you see the truth of who they are, not the image they present, but the person beneath. Watch how they act when the world turns upside down. Nietzsche believed that pressure, chaos, and danger strip away every mask. In moments of crisis, their fears, insecurities, and desires rise to the surface. Their courage, patience, or cruelty becomes undeniable. The calm facade shatters, and what remains is raw, unfiltered truth. Do not wait for confessions. Do not wait for words. Watch the choices they make under pressure, and you will see them as they truly are, beyond appearances, beyond pretenses, beyond the masks they thought no one could pierce. You've seen it. 18 truths that strip away every mask, every lie, every carefully constructed image. You've learned to see the cracks, the slips, the silences, the desires, the fears. But here is the question Nietzsche would leave you with. Once you see everyone clearly, once you understand the shadows behind the smiles, the motives behind the words, the fear behind the pride, what will you do with that knowledge? Because the hardest person to read is not the stranger in front of you, not the colleague, not the friend, not the lover. It is yourself. All this inside the projection, the guilt, the insecurities, the masks. You carry them too. Every fear you see in others lives inside you. Every desire, every self-deception, every silent insecurity, it is mirrored in your own soul. And that is where Nietzsche's work becomes dangerous, because once you see the truth in others, you can no longer ignore the truth within. So the real journey begins here, not in the people around you, but in the one person you cannot escape, the one person who will demand the ultimate honesty and the ultimate courage, you. Are you ready to face what you've been hiding, what you've been avoiding, what you've been lying to yourself about? Or will you turn away and pretend the masks still work, even when you know they don't? The choice is yours, and the moment you make it, everything changes.